Hi everyone, I'm Brock. So let's do another lead code quiz today. Um, Let me choose one. Seems that this page just get stuck. Okay, here we are. Let's choose one quiz randomly. This quiz is easy, so let's skip it. This one is hard, also skip it. I just want to work on medium level quiz. So, okay, this one is medium. Let's have a look. So the topic is bitwise OR of all pairings. Let's read the question. You are given two zero-indexed arrays, number one, number two, consisting of non-negative integers. Let there be another array, number three, which contains a bitwise OR of all pairings of integers between number one and number two. Every integer in number one is paired with every integer in number two exactly once. Return the bitwise OR of all integers in number three. Okay. Here are some two examples. There are three numbers for number one. There are four numbers for number two. So it should have at most 12 bitwise OR. But I assume that some is overlap. And then we do bitwise for all numbers. Okay. I guess that I have some sense to this question. So similarly, before we start write code, I want to just think about some test case first, right? So test case. Just now we have an example. So number one, numbers one is 2, 1, 3. And numbers two is 10250, right? And then we need to actually we need to calculate the bitwise OR for each other. Let's say 2 bitwise OR 10 would be 2 is 10, right? And bitwise OR 10 should be 8 plus 2 should be 1010, right? And then it should be, so bitwise OR means that the two bits should be different, right? So it should be 1000, right? Then it should be 8. Then we just do the similar things for all the numbers, right? 8 and so on. And then we need to do a bitwise for everything in the array, in the list. Okay, I think that the step is pretty clear. So we initialize the final results first, right? So let's make the final result as 0. And then we need to get the length of the number 2. So we get the length of number 2. So we know how long it is. And also that we initialize number 1 all as 0. So next step, we need to iterate over each element in numbers 1 using a for loop, right? So we need to iterate over each element in numbers 1. We can use for value in numbers 1. We can use multiply to calculate each one, right? Because at the end of the day, you actually just you can just bitwise all themselves, right? So yeah, so that would be more straightforward. And we need to know And we need to know whether the second list contain odd number or even number. So we need to check odd number or even number. So if m if m how to pronounce this one? Let's see. How to pronounce percentage? Oh, m mod 2. Yeah, so this is the AI product I will review today. It's called Joy, and it's the ranking 48 on the list. Let's go back to coding first. And if the second list has odd number, then we should do a bitwise OR with number 1. And then let's get number 1's length. And numbers 2's bitwise OR. And iterate over, then we do similar things, right? We need to iterate over each element in numbers 2. So for value in numbers 2, we can do a XOR numbers. And similarly, we need to check whether check whether n numbers one's length is odd, right? If it is odd, then we should, yeah, how do you speak? I guess that one of the reasons I want to use English to make this recording is because sometimes I feel that I don't know how to pronounce some English things, you know. Okay, carried equals or XOR equals. Yeah. So for this one, we can just say XOR equals. That's fine. Okay, let's continue. So it should be result XOR bitwise OR the numbers 2. Yeah, so we actually XOR all elements in the first list, and then we iterate every element in the second list. Then we should be safe to print out everything. Let's run it first. Okay, looks like it passed all the results. Okay, cool, accepted. And at the end, I'm trying to I guess that I feel that when I try to explain my thoughts, I cannot explain very clearly. So I'm thinking about thinking about after I finish a quiz, I will use ChatGPT to explain what I'm doing here. Sounds good. So if ChatGPT need to demonstrate the code, the first point he made is that each element in numbers 1 is XOR with every element in numbers 2. But XOR is associative and commutative. So we can simplify the repeated XOR patterns. And the second key point is for each element in numbers 1, it appears length of numbers 2 times, right? That makes sense because we need to use that element to XOR every element in numbers 2. If length of numbers 2 is odd, it affects the final XOR since even time cancel out, right? Because if you do XOR even time, like 2 times, it actually will, cancel out itself, right? Because 1 and 1 is 0. 1 and 1 is 1, right? Well, yeah, so you see, if you get two numbers the same, then it's 0. If you get 2 numbers different, then you get 1. So that's a basic idea, right? So the point is that XOR gives 1 only when 2 bits are different. So that's why whether it's even or odd will affect the final results. Make sense? And similarly, for each B in numbers 2, it will appears length of numbers 1 times. So only matters if the Z count is odd. So basically, we need them to compute all pairs. We only need two XOR aggregates. Make sense? Yeah, some key expression is XOR and score numbers 1, XOR equals value, M mod 2 equals 1, result XOR equals XOR numbers 1. So, yeah. And also that we can have a look at the test case again, because I think that the text cases I wrote at top on the top of the code doesn't align with what I'm thinking about when implement. So let's see how ChatGPT will give commented out test case. Right? So number 1 is 213, number 2 is 10250. So step 1 is it's just it's just 4 because it's even number. So we will ignore the XOR numbers 1, right? And because the length of number 1 is odd, so we need to include the XOR of number 1. So the final result is just XOR of number 2. Make sense? Yeah, I think that's pretty much of this quiz. Thank you. Let me close the recording. And also that I don't use a second monitor because in an interview, most of the time the interviewer will ask us to use just one monitor. So yeah, so that's why I don't use a second screen. Bye.